understand this deck just because I don't think its power level is quite at, say, odd Paladin or even Paladin, but it is a pretty cool deck.
Is that what it was? I have no idea
Yes.
what we're even doing.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
But I honestly think that this deck is pretty cool. Reason being is because when I first looked at it, I was like, wow, this deck is bad. Paladin secrets are terrible.
Yeah, well,
and then I started playing it, and I would champ
situational.
turn one Secret Keeper against Hunter, and I'd be like, what are they doing? They're not playing anything. Well, you know what? They get secrets in their hand. You know what Secret Keeper does? It gets buffed by every secret put into play, friendly or enemy secret.
That's right. It's tech against hunters.
It's sort of attack against hunters, but also it can just do some pretty cool stuff. Corpse Taker is just a good card. Call to Arms with Knife Juggler is a good card. And sometimes against boards that rely on early pressure, like Odd Rogue. Putting a wide board full of dumb stuff with dumb secrets in the way just is really dumb and makes it hard for the Odd Rogue player to push through. So a couple decks it's good against, a couple decks that it's really bad against.
I think SamuelTsao just really likes hitting face. He's a guy that's historically always played aggressive strategies. And it's kind of something that he really likes to do. For better or for worse, like aggros has been weak in metas, and SamuelTsao still brought aggro lineups.
Yeah.
So he's gonna start off with Odd Rogue versus the Death Rattle Cube Paladin, featuring Kangor's Endless Army. You are not mistaken by looking at that card and thinking, is that really what you should be playing? Because you know, we thought that mechs were cool, but Magnetic was like a solid mechanic, but not like, you know, meta-defining.
Yeah.
This is Jinsoo's pet deck, and this is something that he loved, for better or for worse, in the previous playoffs. And honestly, I think this deck does still have a lot of potential. I think just Death Rattle package in general with Mechano Egg and other things is just really strong.
Well, Paladin itself is just so hot right now.
It's so hot.
Yeah. But it just has a lot of good tools for the metagame. Uther is really strong. Kangor's Endless Army is a great way to finish a game because it also keeps magnetic buffs. And also it's one of the decks that has potential. Every deck in the metagame right now currently has to do like unfair things in order to beat things, right? It has to Cloning Gallery and kill your opponent on turn 9. It has to have Shadowy Branduin to kill a board full of 5 attack minions, and then Mind Blast, Mind Blast, Mind Blast, Mind Blast you to kill you from 20. I'm just naming all priest names.
Yeah, I was like, what are you gonna name next? The OTK Topsy?
It has to be able to pull. It has to be able to make a board full of 5/5s on turn 4 by going Egg, Terror Scale Stalker, Play Dead, Play Dead. Those kinds of things. This deck has Coin Spirit Singer Umbra into Meat Wagon, which on turn 4 can get you Spirit Singer Umbra, a Meat Wagon, a Mechano Egg, and an 8/8. All of that having to be dealt with, and 2 of those things also summoning other things after they die, even if you deal with it, unless you silence it. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going with this. I forgot everything.
You're saying that...
It's cool. Unfair things are cool.
Yeah, you're saying Death Rattle Paladin actually has a 3-turn curve that's almost literally unstoppable.
It's almost unbeatable.
If you coin out Spirit Singer Umbra on 3, play the Meat Wagon on 4, and then Cube on 5, it is game over.
It is. You are done. Unless you played 2 Gilded Gargoyles somehow and they died, and you can coin Psychic Scream, you're dead.
Yeah.
Every one of my anecdotes has Priest involved.
I mean, that's like one board Lord Godfrey cannot defuse. Like, as much as he is great on the CT side, he just does not. He is not able to handle that.
Yeah, especially since you'd have like 3 8/8s, a 4/6, a 3/4, and a bunch of stuff that summons a bunch of other stuff on turn 5. Yeah, Lord Godfrey's not touching that.
Yeah. Anyways, we kind of detracted a little bit from this game just to explain why Death Rattle Mech Cube Uther Paladin.
All right, that's not happening in this game, though, so forget everything we just talked about.
So the important takeaway is that this deck has incredible mid-game potential and even late-game combos. The problem is that I feel like this deck has always struggled historically with its speed. I think it does tend to... It doesn't have a lot of smooth curves because you end up having so many combo pieces because you're like, it's like a Death Rattle Hunter without a lot of good proactive threats. Look at this guy's Cube needs something to land on. Piercing Armor is not great to play vanilla. Endless Army needs mechs. Call to Arms is the only thing that you can really play proactively, but is it too late by then? You're already staring at 15 or 30, 16 damage because the attack with the dagger buffs to.
Well, I mean, the deck does have its Paladin, so it has one of the best removal suites in the entire game, which is a quality plus consecration or quality plus wild permanent. So sorry, Dan, I'm assuming you're
I know. I like that you're using the terminology now.
Yeah. But it's pretty brutal.
This Iron Beak Owl is so nutty. That is 16 damage straight to the face. If SamuelTsao would like.
It is the Stone Cold Macadamia.
So many options.
You're so dumb, dude. SamuelTsao
I was waiting for it. One of these days, they're just gonna call me out. I didn't think it'd be over that one. I didn't think it'd be over that one though. That one was tame compared to some of the others that I had planned for later.
Oh man, you're telling me that this isn't even your final figure. You're just ramping. That was just wild. I like 16 to the face. There's not too many ways that you can get punished by this, considering that your opponent already used a coin. I mean, even if Jinsoo ripped equality right now, still toasty toast.
Yep.
All right, next. Jinsoo is DED dead. See, so here's my big problem with this deck is exactly what we just see. Like, it's just got good cards, but it doesn't it doesn't feel smooth enough yet. And it's got like some insane potential swings, but I'm just not seeing it. You know, like all these things are high quality. It's a very expensive hand from a dust perspective. He's got like, 4 legendaries, an epic, and like some of the core cards from Paladin.
Yeah, how dare he? Well, SamuelTsao.
It's kind of like a Tice or like a Brian Kilber deck. Like, it's off meta enough where it's like unique, but it's also like a good deck that they play very well to Legend and do well. But then they drop it because it only gets them stuck at like rank 2000,
Yeah.
And then they climb with something else more serious.
Which doesn't seem like it'd be a good deck in a tournament environment when you're playing for the final chance to get to the World Championship.
I play it like, I put that in the same category as like, Elemental Control Mage or like Tempo Rogue or like Rush Warrior. Like solid decks that aren't bad, but they're just not like, they don't have their spot in the metagame per se, or they haven't found their pocket yet.
Well, I do think that Secret Paladin has the shape that it needs to fit inside of a pocket.
Oh yeah, what shape is that?
Of the metagame. Square, as are most pockets. But it's actually not quite the shape of a pocket. It's a hexagon. So while it fits in the pocket, it doesn't fit perfectly.
I kind of want a pocket that's a dodecagon. It's 2 hexagons put together.
Like, side by side? Or on top of each other? Or...
Wait, you're the one that wants to design stuff, man, from a young age.
When I was 6! Yeah!
Well, now, a few years later, you can tell me what you want to do. But, yeah, this is a Cube Warlock versus Hunter, and Hunter is generally very good against most Warlock archetypes right now. Because of the sheer amount of pressure. That being said, SamuelTsao has a little bit of a slow start. Nothing really powerful. It's more of a hand against like the odd rogue type of scenario. So
yeah, I think you can afford to have a slow start against this deck, though. It just Cube Warlock just really doesn't do well against faster decks unless they have Skull and Minari on 5. That really is the only way it can have some game, or it has a bunch of early game like Kobold Librarians, Defiles, and Spellstones in order to get it to the point where it can just like play Voidlord safely, which is pretty far away.
Yep.
So Jinsoo already drawing his demons, so he can't Lackey Pact or Lackey anything to cheat out one of the Voidlords from his deck. And if he draws Doomguard, all of a sudden Lackey becomes completely useless. So really needs that Scope and R to get things rolling, or else he's going to be in a world of hurt. So right now, he just, plays a Spirit Singer Umbra on the board to contest, which barely even contests. It's
Maybe.
passive play.
I mean, it could also be the case where Jinsoo just needs to survive, so maybe he just plays Prince Tal'Daram as the Misha and try to, like, at least force SamuelTsao to have the flanking strike.
Yeah. Jinsoo looking like a full anime villain right now.
I understood that reference.
I made it and I didn't understand it. That reference was tailor-made for you, Dan.
Thank you, TJ.
I don't watch any anime. So if you had to force me to say what an anime villain even does, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'll tell you something dumb.
Well, he wears suspenders.
Anime villains wear suspenders? You never told me. I figured they were like...
They also have shirt pockets.
I figured they would like wear rings that were magical and sucked certain emotions out of people.
So you do watch anime.
The greatest
Should I make that anime? Some guy walks around with a magical ring and a turtleneck sweater.
Oh, you know, you can make the ring really powerful, and the only way you can destroy it is to throw it to a center volcano, and Pablo has to go get it.
That obscure.
Wow, that is like such a 5th level meme that I think we just need to take a step back, DJ. We're going way too far in. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. The Spirit Singer Umbra kind of accomplishes very similar things to what Jinsoo was going to do with the Prince Tal'Daram. It's a little bit more mana efficient. And more importantly, it's not a clean kill unless you trade the 4 for 1. So it does force SamuelTsao to react to it. But that Crackling Razor Maw could potentially be disaster for Jinsoo.
Yeah, and the one thing about Spirit Singer Umbra nowadays, as opposed to in previous days, was a turn 4 Spirit Singer Umbra on an empty board, or pretty much an empty board, is not threatening at all.
Yeah.
There's nothing unless you have a very powerful death rattle that they can face this manipulator, Prince Tal'Daram. Then it's slim pickings. So you can't play Possessed Lackey. It used to be 5 mana, now 6 mana. You can't cube anything. There's just nothing going for it. It basically just is used as a, well, I'm not going to get to the point where I can make use of it in the late game cube, so I might as well play it now to absorb some damage. That's its effect. SamuelTsao, unfortunately,
this
playing into Hellfire a little bit, but not really much of a choice.
Yeah, he's got the Subject 9 and Master's Call for reload, so I mean that's potentially 10 cards drawn. Just to give you a context of how insane this can all pan out. 1, 2, 3, 4. But he already drew one of his secrets, so. And it's like Master Calls will draw 3 more, so it's like, you know.
Whoa!
Oh, that is a Skull of the Minari, and there are 2 Void Lords and
a Faceless, and a Prince, and a Cube.
Wow.
All right. Well, Cube
This
Warlock
is really explosive.
Cube Warlock is such a bizarre deck in the fact that its win rate is so heavily tied to one single card. And it kind of brings you back to, like, you know, the
Make
days.
it sound like this is the first time ever that a Hearthstone deck's dependent on one card as its like foundation.
Well, it hasn't always been that all in, right? Cube Warlock used to be able to do a lot more powerful things without Skull of the Minari. Back when Possessed Lackey was 5 mana, Dark Pack healed more, so you had a little more wiggle room. It didn't rely on it. Nowadays, it even more so relies on it. But in the past, there's been decks like, I don't know, Tempo Rogue that relied on like Prince Kel'Seth to push it over the edge. There's Control Mage, which relies on Frosted Jaina to push it over the edge. A lot of combo decks as well, like Control Priest and Shadowy Branduin, Raza Priest and Raza and Shadowy Branduin. There's been decks that have done that, but I felt like
It's not nearly as important as Skull of the Minari is to Cube Warlock.
Yes.
I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like Big Priest would love Barnes on 4, but it can win easily without it.
Yes.
Cube Warlock without Skull of the Minari is a very difficult uphill battle. That being said, TJ, have you tried playing Doomguard from the hand before?
No, you can do that?
It's one secret that'll increase your Cube Warlock win rate.
Or not.
Well, not in this position. I'm just saying that in general, a lot of it I feel like is Cube Warlocks don't have the good. They struggle with balancing whether or not they should play a little bit more greedy or a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
And they often choose greedy because it's just so fun to life tap and it's fun to like do all these crazy combos.
Doomguard still has a very low win rate when played from hand, if you look at aggregate stats, but a lot of times it's because if you do have to play it from hand, you're usually in a losing position anyway.
So in this position, there's a few choices for Jinsoo. He can, first of all, cube the Void Lord, so he can create 3 different bodies and invest more Void Lords into the pool and set up for something else better. The problem is that I think his life total is starting to get to a little scary point. Looks like he chooses just a straight-up second Void Lord here. And the reason I think I like this better is just because Carnivorous Cube has more explosive potential should he pull the Doomguard out and he draws a Dark Pact.
Yeah.
Not to mention that he also has Carnivorous Cube and Prince Tal'Daram, so at 9 mana, he has the ability to pull out the Doomguard, play the Carnivorous Cube, Prince Tal'Daram the cube, and just have a bajillion Doomguards ready to go.
Roughly.
Yeah, rounding up. Now, in SamuelTsao's camp, you are not getting past this wall. Yeah, I mean, that's, like, I don't know how to summarize this turn. I'm just going to say cool story. I think that is the exact way to describe what's happening here. It's like, cool. You know that raunchy animation where the Garrosh is just clapping, like, half sarcastically, but half, like, you know. That's kind of exactly what's going through my mind right now.
I don't think I've seen that one. I'll use a term to describe this turn that you taught me the other day, Dan. Neat.
Yeah, that was very neat. Oh, man. He's got every demon.
Oh, boy, Oberto.
What's funny, too, is the way things like Freezing Trap and whatnot work is that you can pull a 9-mana Void Lord out. You can't coin it, but you can pull it.
You can coin it.
So many possibilities.
There's a Defile here available, too, to Jinsoo, which is fairly straightforward with the Possessed Lackey. Actually, I wonder if that ends up being a bad thing that he drew Doomguard, because since he has no more demons to pull, he can't actually utilize his Possessed Lackey Defile.
I think that's fine. Possessed Lackey, he's fine just not playing from hand. I think he'd just rather have a bunch of demons that he can pull with the Skull. And you can pace him out.
This was also a very deliberate attack by Jinsoo to use the weakened Void Lord, which also means that it'll crack open if he plays the Defile. He could have chosen the higher health Doomguard, or sorry, the higher health Void Lord, and then as a result, everything would have been safer, but he's still not sure about that last... he's still not sure about that last secret, so he chooses instead to cube Prince Tal'Daram, and I think it's fine because there's no silence. And without double kill command, SamuelTsao really has no way to do this. So I like that Jinsoo set this up because now Lord Godfrey is like lethal.
Pretty much, especially if he summons the second Doomguard from his hand.
Right.
SamuelTsao can kind of fill up the board if he wants to with Voidwalkers.
Oh, yeah.
To fend against that possibility.
Wait. Yeah, that's exactly what he should do, right?
But that also plays around, even if there's no Doomguard from hand, it makes Jinsoo have to find a way to trade his own board off in order to get full value from both cubes.
Yeah, that's a really good point, TJ. So by SamuelTsao playing minions onto the board, he's actually giving ways for Jinsoo to trade and break open his cube and lethal him.
But if he doesn't play minions, then he really just doesn't have a way to win.
Well, he could hypothetically like hero power and then let his opponent hit him a couple turns and then like draw into kill commands or use Zul'jin to win. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It's still unlikely, but he's like playing directly into what Jinsoo wants anyway. I feel like this is a very close to 0% chance to win by doing this play. That's just my feeling. I don't know if that's actually true, but when you're staring at, you know,
what's the
4 Doomguards are in those cubes.
What's the secret right now? Well, I think it's lethal no matter what.
I think it's Wandering Monster.
Yeah, it is lethal no matter what.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be able to push 2 damage in with this, with the remaining Voidwalkers.
Yeah.
And then he's got a Defile setup by, well, actually he just got one for free because the Scarlet Crusader is going to stick around, but he could have attacked into the Leok with the last one. It doesn't even matter because he's got the cube attacks too.
Yeah, and then
Defiles because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4.
He has to have lethal. Like, there's a Defile right here
and
just to pop the 2 Doom Guards, and then you can just Dark Pack the other ones.
Yeah, there's many ways.
There's like a lot of ways you can do this.
He could just slam Godfrey. I think that'd be lethal too.
Probably. He might kill his own Doom Guard.
He can stand up in his chair, do a 360, backflip off of it, and land on his mouse. And then he'd probably still have lethal.
Yeah. There you go. Got him. That is a 1-1 tied series. Jinsoo's Cube lineup strikes back. He's got Cube Warlock, Cube Hunter, Cube Paladin.
Yeah, I think that's a big win for Jinsoo as well. The Cube Warlock did have potential to struggle against a pretty aggressive lineup from SamuelTsao. Outside of his own Death Rattle Hunter, he can deal with the Hunter Spellstone very well. Dustbreaker in his Priest, Hellfire in his Warlock, and combination equality or Wild Pyromancer Consecration, any number of things in his Paladin deck to get through that. So I can see why it'd be good against the Sacred Hunter. Maybe a traditional mid-range would be a little bit tougher because right as it currently stands, he doesn't need to deal with secrets early on because he's playing defensively. But let's get into game number 3. Jinsoo trying for the Paladin once again, and SamuelTsao trying for the Hunter once again.
I do want to point out that despite this, SamuelTsao is favored in the series. Like, the Hunter is the target, but it's not that significant. Its worst matchup is like 40%, which is still a very good chance to sneak through. And look at that opening hand. And also, no hero power from Jinsoo.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting, too.
Yeah, I think the no hero power is just a nod to the Scavenging Hyena plus Spring Paw.
Yeah, he doesn't have a really good answer with it outside True Serve Champion. He doesn't want to take that extra damage for no reason.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird, unintuitive play to make, but I think it ends up working out quite well. I think like some of the other decks, I can't remember other decks that you forego hero power against, but like on turn 2.
That's the Paladin?
Yeah. I know Classic there's been a few. I guess maybe even
like you don't hero power against like priests if they have Northshire Cleric.
Yeah, Northshire Cleric. Even Warlock. If you're playing a super control heavy, you can sometimes not have a 1/1 on the board eventually for a Defile if you're worried about that, or you're not going to attack
Shaman.
anyway for Hooked Reaver.
Like Shutterwalk Shaman doesn't want a hero power sometimes because of Volcano.
Yeah, well, Control Shamans in general, you always have to think about whether or not to hero power because of Volcano specifically.
Yeah. So there's definitely, I mean, I think those are some of the cooler moments in Hearthstone just because of how different they are. If that was the norm, like all you do is unintuitive stuff, I don't think that'd be, I think frankly that's not good design. But I think because it's far and few in between, that's what makes it cool.
Yeah.
And by the way, this Misha ends up being pretty nice here for SamuelTsao because it forces the attack to trigger the secret. But by choosing this, SamuelTsao also does not have to pump the Spellstone, so he can't get out a turn early, which is kind of what he needed. Like, because Jinsoo now will have a turn to respond.
And picks up Wild Pyromancer, so now he has an answer to Spellstone since it's going to be played most likely on curve instead of being coined out. Actually, no.
Oh.
Going to coin out for 3. Okay, this is smart.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what he needed to do. Like, if he waited for 1 more turn, then his opponent would have 6 mana, and it's like Pyromancer Consecration or Equality, like Pyromancer Equality. Like, you lose your entire momentum. And also, you know, theoretically, this should be Jinsoo's weakest deck just because it's the least amount of games played, and its matchups still don't look that good. But I trust Jinsoo to know what he needs to do, even though the statistics don't favor him.
It's a very difficult deck to play, I think, and that's one of the reasons why the statistics lean towards it. There's a lot of players that have reached very high legend ranks. I think More Control reached rank 1 with this deck, or a similar variation of it.
Yeah, I don't know if he played the... Did he play the mech package with it? The Kangor's in this army.
I don't think he played Kangor's in this army, but he did play
He did play the
Mechano Egg and the Cube.
and he was doing some real work with it.
He was, yeah, and I don't think the Kangor Endless Army really changes a lot. Like having it in the deck. It just kind of gives you one extra punch against like super control heavy deck.
I know he loves that deck, and I personally think it's great too. I always wonder if it's just a little biased because one, you played it and you won a lot with it, so you're like, oh, this deck has to be really good. And it's like maybe just because you're a really good player and you're just stomping other
lost
people.
a ton with this deck
like,
when I was trying to practice with it earlier in the previous week before America's, expecting more of it.
Yeah. There's like some players that I don't even remember the last time they didn't finish top 10, like Hunter Ace, Boar, and like Muzzy, and I don't even remember the last time they didn't get to top 25 plus.
I remember the week we recorded Talkstone, the episode where we had Hunter Ace.
Yes.
And while he was waiting for Dan and I to record our segments, he kicked off his shoes, just propped up his feet on the couch, laid out.
He tried to prop out. This dude is literally like, you know the long cat, where like you just keep scrolling down and down and down. It's a never-ending portrait of a cat, like literally traveling through dimensions and portals.
Yes.
That's Hunter Ace when he sprawls out across a couch, because I was like, dude, this guy's limbs never end.
They do not.
And it was a sight to behold.
He was just, I don't even know what he was doing. He was playing on like Dan's tablet or something.
No, he was playing on my iPad.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, I'm top 25 legend. I'm like, you were playing on my iPad with no deck tracker. I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, well, I have to go practice for HGG. Can I borrow your mouse for it? And I'm like, sure.
3 months later at Taiwan All-Stars is when Hunter Ace finally returned that mouse.
Yeah, I wanted him to not give it back to me so I could lord it over him. But now that I have it, I am selling Hunter Ace's mouse for twice that amount of value. So if you want to be blessed by Lord Caspi of Norway, hit me up in my DMs.
Well,
I got a great deal for you.
Long story short, Hunter Ace in his socks on a couch way too small for him on Dan's iPad playing Togwaggle Druid. Jet-lagged out of his mind,
and he
still was in top 25 legend.
He was like doing some Azalina like memorization mnemonic tactics or whatever. It was like, he was like, yeah, like, okay, so he's played this, so if I Azalina this, then I should be able to naturalize this, and that also gives me the ability to Azalina again. I have lethal, and I'm like, he's at like 60 health, and he lethaled him. I'm like, wow. Anyways, back to this game. The call to arms was able to diffuse SamuelTsao's aggression, and more importantly, we're starting to see all the pieces come together. Next turn, there's Spirit Singer Umbra and Meat Wagon to pull out the combo, and then from that point on, Jinsoo's just never going to let go. And to top it all off, Uther of the Ebon Blade is going to give Jinsoo that breathing room to make that comeback and play with his life total in tandem with that Zilliax. So I think everything is looking really good for a potential Jinsoo victory in, the next stage of the game.
Well, this is interesting. This is probably the play that I would have suspected the least because of the Spirit Singer Umbra Meat Wagon interaction. He was able to pull a bunch of stuff out of his deck, but I guess his other players just didn't seem appealing to him. I think Call to Arms would only pull... No, it would still pull 3.
So,
it would have a Loot Hoarder, two Righteous Protectors, and a Blood Mage Thalnos is in the pool still.
Right.
So,
I think it's okay, because you have to think about why would you still want to play Call to Arms. Call to Arms is one of those cards in the past where you just play it all the time because you just wanted to get it out of your deck. Mm-hmm. But Jinsoo is not playing a combo deck, and he's not playing an aggro deck. He's playing just a straight-up mid-range, adapt to the situation, try to pressure, or try to react. And I think the fact that he can have that Pyromancer or have that Blood Mage Thalnos on call at any time he needs, or Righteous Protector, gives him flexibility to defend against aggression if he needs to.
Yeah.
But he doesn't necessarily need it right now, because otherwise it just gives SamuelTsao more things to like flanking strike.
Yeah.
That being said, I still like the idea of saving Meat Wagon for Spirit Singer Umbra, so...
but I guess Spirit Singer Umbra with Cube is more powerful.
He also has the ability to do something really cute, which is Zilliax Magnetic with a Meat Wagon, but it doesn't pull the egg anymore, and then you pull other stuff.
It doesn't pull the egg anymore, and I think the main reason, though, is what I was saying is Spirit Singer Umbra is much better with Cube than it is with Meat Wagon.
Sorry, yeah.
If you give your opponent a chance to kill Spirit Singer Umbra before you Cube to the Meat Wagon, then all of a sudden the value gets diminished a little bit.
Oh yeah, a little bit. It's significantly.
Well, you still get to pull like a free egg out of your deck, and then of course a free 8/8 on that turn to really ramp up the tempo. But I don't think
You're
he's
right.
really looking for tempo because he was already ahead. So I think more so he was looking for the most powerful turn he could possibly do, and that would be getting the Mechano Egg out first with the Meat Wagon, and then using Spirit Singer plus Cube to really drive it home.
Well, SamuelTsao just did Jinsoo, you know, a favor by pulling that egg out.
Thank you.
Although I guess Jinsoo didn't draw the egg, so it's still the same thing. Like, it's one of those things where if Jinsoo had both eggs drawn, that was just like a really unfortunate thing. But, you know, giving your opponent that extra draw, unless you're 100% sure, you can't really ever tell.
Yeah.
So now he's got that big play you're talking about. Seriously, Grumber.
Oh, yeah.
Cube, and wow, it is going to be raining Robosaurs.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Hallelujah.
And then if SamuelTsao is able to deal with anything on the board, which
Yeah.
not likely, then Jinsoo could follow that up with magnetizing that Ziliax onto one of these Mechano Eggs.
Yeah.
Or even one of the Robosaurs, which kind of seems counterintuitive, but because Kangor's Endless Army brings back the mechs plus their attachments, sometimes just having a 11-10 with Divine Shield, Rush, and Lifesteal, that'll get you through the late game pretty easily, regardless of which way you slice it, so...
There's 16 plus 7, so 23, 26 damage. SamuelTsao's not dead.
He's pretty close to dead.
Not dead yet. He can set up this Stealth Tundra Rhino and maybe find a way to this a massive Scavenging Hyena.
I don't know.
Or he can search for a beast.
He would have to get like Halazi Snow Flipper Penguin, and even then, I don't think it'd be enough.
He can get Bloatbat and like the Lifesteal.
You can get, yeah, but even then, because
Or like Poisonous. No, but then he's like pops the eggs.
he pops the eggs and he'd be dead because he's going down to sub 10 health this turn.
I mean, he's very close to death right now. I'm trying to find a way. I mean, SamuelTsao also did play Spellstone and whatnot, so maybe Zul'jin, but I don't think it would have to be a magical series of spells. Yeah, I don't even think it's enough.
Here comes the big ass.
Some groovy tunes there, Zul'jin.
Oh no, he shot his own. Dude, you know, actually, if he was able to play the Scavenging Hyena, this would actually be lethal, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think it'd be lethal by far.
Dude, that's so scary. Oh my gosh, look how much damage he was still able to generate. He had 24 damage just right now raw, plus the Leox 27 and Diremo would have been 30. Like, look how much damage he was still able to potentially generate despite all that.
If he'd been able to play like a few more secret stuff in the game, maybe some face protect secrets, he might be able to chew through enough of the board here to be able to isolate things. But it is Snake Trap, so if SamuelTsao leaves one minion on board, then he's dead, and he realizes that he can't quite get through everything. And Jinsoo, 2-1 up. The cube deck's out of the way.
Yeah. Great patience being displayed.
He's got an exceptionally warm and comfortable neck.
Secret Paladin. Oh, man. Now, what's so funny is he's going up against a non-secret hunter.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit awkward.
But he still has a secret in his hand. And he has a way to generate secret with Hydrologist.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But that opening hand, though, from Jinsoo.
Wow. Yeah.
That is quite an explosive opening.
The one thing about this Secret Paladin deck is it doesn't have great ways to get through big taunt minions, like Witchwood Grizzly. It's got Blessing Kings and Fungalmancer and Sunkeeper Term. That's pretty much it. No access to Equality, no like big board-centric turns that Odd Paladin can do with Raid Leader with the Unidentified Maul, which it does have, but doesn't have a way to get wide on that board early on.
Yeah, these are some of the, quote, key cards.
Yeah, these are what make the deck tick.
Hold on. This is not an autofill. This is not an arena deck. This is SamuelTsao last chance to qualify for the Winter Championship and consequently the World Championship for the Year of the Raven. And he chooses to put his faith in the Thrallmar Farseer. Now, granted, Thrallmar Farseer, he works out.
He does.
He was definitely Arnold's
guy.
understudy in Predator before he, went ahead for the handshake, the epic handshake that's remembered in time. But this is not exactly the key cards. In my opinion, I think Bellringer Sentry is very powerful, but also Corpse Taker and things like Fungalmancer, Blessing of Kings, Call to Arms are also just really important. But the real linchpin is Secret Keeper and all the secrets that go around.
Yeah.
I
I don't even think Bellringer Sentry is that good. It's just the fact that if you're putting a bunch of secrets into your Paladin deck, you might as well play it.
So I think it's actually pretty solid. Like it's not Mysterious Challenger level good, but it's still very. It's think about it like Blessing of Kings versus Earthen Might. Sorry, I'm blanking out. It's getting a little bit late here. Earthen Might and Blessing of Kings. People are like, well, Earthen Might's just a 2+2+2, but it's like even though it's scaled down and its impact is nowhere near as swingy, it's still very solid for what it does.
Yes.
So yes, it's not Mysterious Challenger level. It's not Mad Scientist level, but it's still like right there in the middle, and it's very reasonably costed instead.
Yeah. Okay. I'll agree with that.
That's my.
I would agree with that. It's a fair card.
Yeah.
And SamuelTsao off to a fantastic start. Even has Blessed Maul, Noble Sack to buff this up. But Jinsoo does have Houndmaster Shaw plus the Coin Plated, which will give the 5/5 rush.
Yes.
The problem is he knows what
Auto-defense
one of these secrets is. It's either Hidden Wisdom or Redemption, since he just checked for Repentance. And then the second secret he has absolutely no idea. And it is Auto Defense Matrix, which
Quickly.
just is going to take a beat. That's for sure.
Yeah. You can
And-
play another secret.
Wait,
8,
he
10,
10
12.
plus what? That's 14 damage.
Whoa.
Yeah, he can put him to 2 and just have the Blessed Maul swing next turn. Jinsoo would have to remove the board and put something in the way.
Yeah, that is a redemption. But Jinsoo also has Ziliax next turn, which makes it a little bit more complicated for SamuelTsao.
Yeah.
I do like the Blessed Maul this turn because I think you want to get the weapon swings out because you want to Vine Cleaver on 7.
Yeah.
Let
If he even
5
gets
to
that
6
point.
swing. Right. We're gonna plan as if there's the best case scenario and the worst case scenario and try to see if you can meet in between. Also, I mean, I bet SamuelTsao is wondering if there's any reason to kill Master Shaw, because if you lead with Shaw, you give this opportunity for Jinsoo to maybe draw like the 1 card to beat you, but you're giving up so much damage to do so. You're giving up 6.
Yeah. I think this is head one place and one place only. I think SamuelTsao realizes even if he leaves with Houndmaster Shaw and this board gets cleared, he just has lethal with the weapon swing going to the next turn, and I don't know if the Ziliax is going to save him, because he can maybe, best case scenario, after the Secret is played, isolate the Secret Keeper. Or
Well,
I guess he can isolate the...
I mean,
Oh no, wow.
so now he has the secret. The redemption here ends up working kind of badly here for SamuelTsao. He wanted to revive something else, so now he just Ziliaxes in trades, right?
Yeah, he Ziliaxes trades over the Secret Keeper, and then Candle shots down the 2/1 that was Redemption, and then he's at 5. SamuelTsao has to attack in the Ziliax. He goes up to 8, and then he's out of range of a lot of stuff and has a bunch of taunts to follow this up. Unless...
Jugglers.
Yeah, but he gets 1 juggle, maybe 2 max if he picks something up.
Every time I see Candle Shot like just help Hunter barely survive, it's always just by his skin of his teeth. And how important is that immune
Yeah.
for the attacks? And now SamuelTsao has to, suck it up here.
Didn't hit the Shaw. Looks like he hit the A. Nope. hit the face.
That's kind of good, actually.
Yeah.
That sets up for the Vine Cleaver, except it's not that easy. Witchwood Grizzly. Witchwood Grizzly looks really good, although he has to test for the secret first, sees that it's going to be Redemption. And that should give him the go-ahead to play Witchwood Grizzly here. It is a 3-11, and unless SamuelTsao has something to get past, which I don't think he does.
No, this is one of the weaknesses I was talking about earlier. This deck, outside of Sunkeeper Terran, it's not an on deck, just can have access on Keeper Terran, has no way to get through big stuff. He's going to just start having to chop through. Houndmaster Shaw's still on the board.
Oh, it's so close. Did SamuelTsao miss any damage in this game? I bet he's thinking about it right now. Like,
no, he definitely did not.
Did he?
He played Secret Keeper, and then every attack just went face. He had the option of trading to Houndmaster Shaw, but then he wouldn't be as close to lethal. The board would have still, I think, shaken out to be this. Actually, no, it could have been different in that case, because the secrets wouldn't have been able to be proc that early. Yeah. Now this is there's just absolutely no way. Sunkeeper Terran would work actively against him. Jinsoo's emptied out most of his hands, so Divine Favor's not even that good.
Yeah.
So close, yet so very far away.
If this deck needs some kind of punt option, like Prince Liam.
There's a chance.
Okay.
Noble Sacri... So, Juggler Call to Arms.
Yeah.
Plus Hero Power.
The Juggles can get over the hump. SamuelTsao still has a way to win this game.
It's very slim, especially since Jinsoo's just going to play more minions this turn, have a full board, and every single one of these Juggles, or at least the vast majority of them, is going to have to go face.
Crazier things have happened, TJ.
I don't think so. I don't think crazier things have happened. I think if this happens, then forever we could say that crazier things have happened because that happened.
Well, look, I mean, Knife Juggler can pull out with the two call to arms, the Righteous Protectors, and that's 4 attacks. And then you attack with the Vine Cleaver. Look, SamuelTsao will have a certain amount of Juggles.
He's going to have maximum 6 Juggles because that's all the board space he has. Maximum.
TJ. So TJ,
he has to take a 1 in 8.
I'm ready.
It's not gonna happen.
I am so ready for this.
Nope.
Put this apple on your head.
Please.
Impossible.
4 times. That is perfect sequencing because of the way the triggers work. Oh no. Oh. Now he needs to land it perfectly. Oh. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, crazier things have definitely happened than that.
I wanted some drama, man.
That was not crazy. That was sad.
Well, I mean, again, if SamuelTsao, like, imagine if Jinsoo was just a little bit lower in life. You know, he wasn't at 4, he was at 1 or 2. It still makes it really close. That being said, though, this is lethal. Jinsoo's going to take the series 3-1 with his triple cube lineup. And I gotta say, he is a really exciting player to watch for many reasons, but his lineup is just really unique.